Welcome to Fearfully and Wonderfully Me, a podcast for women on leadership and life skills with Rhea Story.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. I'm super excited to be with you today. I have a very special guest. She will forever be the cherry pie girl from the Warrant music video and CD cover of the same name, an ultimate 1980s, 1990s rock and roll video vixen. She's had her identity stolen, but through that found a new identity with faith in God. Please welcome Bobbie Jean Brown.
Hi, thank you for having me, Rhea. It's such a pleasure.
I so appreciate you coming on to share your story on the Fearfully and Wonderfully Me podcast, Bobbie Jean. I want to get into all of your faith journey and on all of that because one of the things I've always felt like is that women particularly often struggle with creating, number one, a healthy identity that is centered on lasting principles and values, and particularly recreating that after the hardships that sometimes life throws at us.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm excited about you and sharing your story is you have gone to Hollywood and you've done all of the things on the music scene and the movie scene. And so kind of just walk us through that from that through your faith journey, because I'm excited to hear about this.
Well, I spent, I guess, my entire life. I wasn't raised around Christians. I had never opened a Bible. I went to church on, Easter and Christmas. Never really had a faith journey until recently. Moved to Hollywood when I was 17 and immediately started working. Never had to get a part-time job. Signed with an agency and spent 36 years navigating Hollywood, from acting, modeling, writing books, doing stand-up comedy, doing a reality show. Like, I don't know that there's any part of entertainment that I didn't dabble in, like it was just always, and honestly, it was just something I felt like I had to do to like prove my relevancy or importance. Like I would have one success and then be like, now what? Oh, I did this, now what? I spent a lot of my life being just, going, I have to prove my worth here. And then social media came into play. And that was a whole new weird element, because it went from like, not only do you have to be talented before, but that was before the internet really blew up. So it was kind of like your merits were based on your talent or, what you had previously done. And then social media came out and we were kind of forced, I say we, me and other people in the entertainment industry, to be a part of social media. And at first I was like people don't go breakfast, like no one wants to see a picture of my latte, and wildly enough, they do. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, wildly enough, they like want to know every aspect of every part of your life, which is crazy and dangerous. And then it got to a point where you couldn't actually get a job unless you had so many followers or so many likes. It wasn't really merited on your talents anymore. It was kind of like, is she talented? Oh, kind of talented. What does she have? And that can also be exhausting. And, with the million followers and a million likes and a million hearts and all this stuff you get all day long, it literally felt like nothing, it just, and it's promoting a societal norm from influencers who are just posting their best reel, not their true selves or their lives or. So, all these unsuspecting, teens or kids who are growing up and even adults are checking, the social medias of other people and comparing it to their own lives and even being influenced negatively, like body shaming and, easily people think they know you and easily accessible. And that's not always easy, because now everybody has a way to contact you, comment to you, say horrible things, create, now they have deep fake. I don't know. Like, the world's going crazy with this internet stuff. So I spent 36 years in the entertainment, was like trying to step up to the next bar of what I can do. Like, what else can I succeed at? What else can I do? What more is there? So I did that, and then COVID happened, and I thought two things. I thought I need to be with my family, because I haven't lived with my family or been around my family for 36 years. Even my daughter lived in Louisiana too. I really spent the majority of my life just pushing the next thing. Like, what else can I do? What else can I do? Because I didn't do the marrying well thing. Like, I just did it myself. I did everything myself. Like, I made my own money, like, I just worked really hard. And that's what I focused my entire identity as, Bobbie Brown. What else is Bobbie Brown going to do? What else? How much, and a part of me was very proud of that, to be like, I did this. I didn't marry well. I'm not living off of someone else's money. I'm nobody's showpiece. I'm just a female rocking it in this world, and I accomplished that, and was still, momentary joy is literally, you think, I got all the money, I got the show I want, or I got this, I accomplished that, I got everything, and I still felt really miserable, And, you're always searching for love, to be loved. And people in Hollywood are just competitive, Everyone's just, it was like a daily competition. Imagine being competitive for 36 straight years, every single day. So I had coping problems. So I became a functioning addict. Early in my 20s, my agency promoted cocaine, then crystal meth, as a means for weight control. And, it wasn't a matter of like, well, yeah, she might get strung out on that. That's not our responsibility. That's on her. We just need her to be, 10 pounds thinner by next Friday, type of thing. And of course, that stuff was so addicting. And it did, they're not looking for anybody's mental health or emotional health. They're just looking to see how much more money they can make from you.
It's a form of exploitation.
Absolutely. And I got into a lot of tough, horrible situations where I trusted them, and things went horrible, and you just kind of get to a point where you're like, there's nobody likes me for me, they just want me to like flip around on my hands and knees with my hair and, be in the cherry pie video. Like, I lost you. What happened?
Let's see. No, it's all right. If you may have accidentally turned your camera off on your phone. So there.
Let me see.
Okay. No worries.
Nope.
Let me open up the app.
There you are.
There we go.
There you are. All right. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I was trying to get rid of an Instagram reminder. No, I don't care about that. Yeah. So I was constantly, I was so used to like being Bobbie Brown, and I've done it all myself. And thanks to me, no one else. It's all me. It's all me. And some pride issues. I was so unself-aware, my merits were all on my accomplishments, and money, and that's just how the world is, and I moved back home for COVID, and I meet this person who introduces herself, saying that she had her own magazine and wanted to hire me for the February cover and do a whole piece on me because, of course, on social media, the whole time I'm like, I'm driving home to Louisiana, post, letting everyone know, like everyone does on social media,
Mm-hmm.
everything they're doing. So, I'm letting, clearly someone who's a low key fangirl, stalker, which later became a stalker, essentially just know everything I was doing. So it was kind of the perfect opportunity. And I'm trusting. I'm thinking I've known all the crazies in LA. There's no way I'll be
Like,
doing in Louisiana, right?
right.
I mean, I've seen it all. Like I've experienced it all. There's just no way. And there was a way. So totally trusting. I let this person come over pre-game the whole thing. Like there was no magazine. I'm like cutting a charcuterie board for the interview that turned out to be like a creepy love letter. And she took a walk around my condo and put spyware on my computer.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm. And so before I even knew it, I noticed that my computer was doing weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Never in my mind was I thinking that person put spyware on my computer.
Right.
It just dawned on me. So we have you, and it turns out to be like a creepy love letter. And then she starts call stalking me every day, like sent me 189 text messages a day, started showing up to my place. And now I know this is the Holy Spirit. At the time, I thought it was like my conscience or whatever told me I should be very afraid of this person. And lived my life going like, I'm not afraid of anybody. I've dealt with everyone. I'm bad stuff. And I thought, that's weird. I've never had this voice tell me this person's dangerous, right? Like never. And she stole my identity. And I probably didn't even really realize it until like within about 2-3 months, when I'm starting to see this stream of income just go to zero, this one go to zero, because I had many different streams of income. Like I had royalties from books, other places, and I had many streams of income. And then I'd be like, what's going on? It was just like a nightmare. And then she showed up at my house at 3:00 in the morning with a loaded 38 and thought that I was meant to be her husband.
Oh my word.
Yeah, girl. I was like, what? Wait, I'm sorry, what? And the Lord saved me in that moment because I kicked her out of my place, and she had put a loaded 38 on my kitchen table and followed me out the door. And then to talk me back inside to find her keys. She said she lost, but they were on her person. And right at that pivotal moment, my neighbor who I'd never met jogging past and kind of changed the trajectory of like our conversation. And we must have sounded crazy. I was screaming at her. It was like 4 a.m, telling her to get out. She's like, the keys. Then the neighbor passes, who I consider an angel, to talk to her. And as soon as she passed, the girl says to me, what about those keys? And I say, no. And I pick my garage just to run under. I walk inside to find the gun. And it's loaded. And it's loaded. Like, oh my gosh. Like I pick it up. It's heavy. I just take a million pictures of it. And I'm like freaking out. Like her intentions were all bad, And so from that moment on, I started to realize like she was in my phone, because I got into my car, drove to my mom's house, and was like, so-and-so texted. You know how your Bluetooth is connected to your phone in your car? So-and-so texted, Bobbie Brown replied. I pulled over. I'm like,
oh.
How? What? I didn't reply. Like, what? Just one little thing here, one little thing there, just kind of started adding up. And I had a full meltdown, like full on. And it lasted for a straight year, the meltdown part, because nobody was able to help me. Like nobody forensics department in Louisiana are just like, whoa, they don't, why would somebody want to do that to you? I'm like, that's your job. That's your job. At the end of it all, they basically said that I was crazy and making up the whole thing. And I even gave them all my devices. They did nothing. The only thing that happened was they destroyed her weapon. And I had a stay away order, which didn't keep her away.
Right.
So, yeah. So I was like, forget this town. Everyone's dumb here. Nobody knows what they're doing here. The forensics department is completely like 12 years behind. They're like, there's no such, nobody can do that. That's not even possible. I'm like, are you guys in 2022?
Right. This happens all the time.
What do you mean it's not possible? Like, yeah, it is. To prove what it was, how it worked, when it was installed, when it was activated, the link to it, like every detail. And they just didn't like me telling them their job. So they recommended me be put on a mental hold.
Wow.
Instead. And I was like, that's not happening. Y'all are of no help. I'm going to come get my stuff and I'm out of here. I leave, go to California for 4 months. I'm like, where am I? It was like the bowels of hell. I was like, this town is gone. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I went, what am I doing? And basically I was doing what I always do, which is kind of run. Run. Yep, that's my way of dealing with grief, is like running away from it, or replacing it with drugs or whatever. And I just got to a point where I was just so broken. I called my mom and said, I'm putting all my stuff in storage. So I'd moved here, set up my own place. That happened. I moved back to California, get down to $0, can't, have to go to court to prove myself for the unemployment money that was stolen from COVID, because I had to show, prove my identity to them. Doesn't mean I got the money back. I didn't get any of the money back that was stolen in any capacity. And then I moved back here and I was at rock bottom. I was crying every day. I felt like, what do I do? How do I access myself or my life? Or everything's gone. I couldn't have access to any of my socials. She was being me on all my verified social accounts and had cleaned out every other account. Access to anything online, like no access. She had changed everything and was controlling everything. And I stopped using the internet for like 3 years. I just said, I was so frustrated by not being able to access my own life that I said, forget it. I'm done. And I remember saying, God, in a moment, God, if you're real, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this life anymore. I've tried everything humanly possible. Literally, I give up. I have no purpose. I don't know how to move forward from this. I don't know if anyone can help me. If you're real, I need help. I don't know what else to do. So I started to go to EMDR therapy, which is for severe PTSD. And I did like 5 of those, and the last 2 were intensives, EMDR intensives. And the last intensive I did lasted 5 hours long. And
wow,
I told this person everything I have never told anyone, like everything, and like everything. And it was a lot. And she was like, you're kind of scaring me. And I was like, well, if I'm scaring you, we're like, I don't, but that's not what I'm trying to hear from my therapist. So
right.
Thanks for your time, and I went home from that intensive. I laid my head down, and I guess that was like the moment where there was a crack in the wall of my heart, releasing all of that. And I went home, I laid my eyes closed, and in that moment, it felt like a wind. It felt like intense. It felt holy. Like when somebody was saying, if you didn't know God, how'd you know it was holy? Because all that I could say was, and I was breathing in such a supernatural way that there's no way I could even imitate it right now. But it was like with every breath in, he was baptizing me with the Holy Spirit. And every breath out, all I could say was, God, your love is so powerful. God, your love is so powerful. And he just kept infusing me with this love. And I'd never felt a love like that in my entire life. Like, and I'm trying not to cry because I cry every time I tell the story, but it's just amazing. And he showed me my entire life, but in split second clips, like a movie behind my eyes. You know, my eyelids are closed. I wasn't necessarily asleep, but as soon as I closed my eyes, he came in like a gust of wind and showed me my entire life, my birth, every moment of my entire life to that very moment, but in clips like a movie, and everywhere he was in every moment, you know, where, you know, the time I almost drowned, like the time, you know, the time that I was trafficked to another country, the time where, you know, I almost OD'd, like just showed me where he was in every instance. I'm crying, you know, repenting. Oh my gosh, repenting. I'm crying. This went on for 8 hours or until morning. I don't know how to manage or the time, because to him there is no time, you know. But to me, I went to bed when the sun was still up. I went and laid in the room and didn't open my eyes until the next morning. So it happened until he told me, get some rest, my child. Like, it went on a long time. And then the first thing he said was, do not be afraid, my child. So when you feel this intense wind coming, and then this breath, and then a voice say, do not be afraid, my child, I was like, wow, this is so incredible. So yeah, that's how I know it was God, because it was all beautiful. It was all incredible. And I remember saying, and even if I had questions, I didn't verbalize them, but if I thought something in my mind, he showed it to me and answered me like that, you know? And, finally, he said for me to get some sleep, and I had great sleep, and I woke up with new eyes, like literally new eyes. I saw things differently. I noticed things I'd never noticed before. Like, everything changed. Everything changed. And most importantly, I didn't know how to pray. He told me how to pray. I mean, I said, from this moment on, I remember saying, from this moment on until my last breath, I'm going to live it for you.
Wow.
And then that's been my journey since that moment. And he also showed me that my identity can't be stolen per se, not in the kingdom, that my identity was in Jesus Christ and his son. And it changed my perspective on that whole thing. You know, just by him saying that, I was like, wow. I let all this stuff go, because he there was an urgency to it, but he just assured me, like, everything that was stolen, what the enemy meant for bad, I'm going to make for good. Like, everything. And kind of like, I feel like he allowed that to happen, you know, but he allowed that to happen. So, because I don't know that I'd ever have gotten there. You know what I mean?
I do.
Without, yeah, I don't know that I would have ever gotten there had that he not allowed that to happen. But not that he wasn't going to restore me and turn it around and it'd be for good, but he allowed that identity, you know, whatever that was, to be stolen, and so I could be reaffirmed in my new identity, the identity of the kingdom and Jesus and Christ. So I was on a mission after that. I was like so filled with the Holy Spirit. And it really was like, I didn't want it. I never wanted it to end or go away. I was just like, I hope I never lose this feeling, you know, because it was so intense. He showed me things in the spirit. He gave me visions. he's given me so many gifts, and he's advanced me in maturity in just 1 year, that people are surprised that but he's done that, not me. Like,
Right.
he's doing that. It's not anything I'm doing. I mean, yes, I found a church. Yes, I started to dive into the word. Yes, I joined a Bible group, a prayer group. I totally threw myself into that because I felt like this, 53-year-old newbie who had never opened a Bible,
Yep.
Like, I didn't have Christian friends or women of faith. Like, I didn't have any of that. Like, they're not pushing Jesus in Hollywood,
That's true.
like, at all. Like, I was introduced to the occult there, in the occult when I was there. Like, but they told me it was like white witchcraft, which is good witchcraft, not bad. I just believed all of that crap. And he redeemed me in one night. I repented, and my eyes were new overnight, but I literally had a new GPS on my future one night. And everything's just been progress. Nothing happened like overnight.
Right.
But yeah. And sometimes he gives me revelations where I'm just like, oh, wow. Like, we serve such an incredible God who blows my mind daily. Like, every day I'll be like, I see what you did there, And then I think I spoke to you a little bit about this. Like, I had identity theft in one respect. And then I see all these kids, these children, and all of the agenda. And I feel like it's also identity theft. It's like the confusion coming over, people and these children, and with their sexuality and their gender confusion. I feel like it can also be under identity theft, and if, and then I just saw this with so many kids in LA, like, all just like I was, all being taken advantage of, all, horrible things are happening. They're all on drugs. They're all confused. They all think they're, in love with a fish or whatever. Like, I don't know, like, all of the pronouns that I still don't understand. And I'm not, God loves all of them. And I just asked myself, like, where are your parents? But, it's no harm. Like, I had parents that didn't know God. So I don't know. It's just like, it's a whole thing. So all I do now, the Lord has me waking up every few hours doing intercessory prayer. And it's usually for people in Hollywood. And yeah, it's usually for people in Hollywood. Sometimes I can't get through a whole night, without him waking me up with every hour with a new dream, with another prayer for somebody else, go back to sleep, another dream. And I've never dreamt like that in my whole life. Like, I had 10 different dreams last night, and but I stay obedient to it, and I pray for whoever he wants me to pray for. And sometimes I'm like, like, I don't want to, kind of. And he'll remind me later, you didn't pray for that person.
Uh-oh.
And I'll be like, okay. Yeah, so it's been a wild ride, and it's the hardest thing is like listening to him, like where he leads me. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to do that. Like, like, I was teaching 4th grade. I don't have a teacher's degree. I never went to college. So this 4th grade teaching job lands in my lap, and I'm like, are you sure? Kind of thing. I was only there for 4 months, but I remember 2 months earlier, I don't know why I said this, the pastor was like, does anyone here feel, led to be around children or teach children? And I pop my hand up and go, I do. And that was it. And I forgot about it. Nothing came of that. And then 2 months later, I get this job, and I'm like, he has a sense of humor. He heard me. Okay. All right. I get it now. So yeah, just following his lead sometimes. And I'm still learning how to do that all the time. Nothing's been perfect, but I do have a different heart. I do have a different mind. I am more compassionate. I'm a different person than I used to be, for sure. Um, it's been an incredible ride.
Mm.
Yeah, I got baptized last January.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, so that's been my journey. I'm going back into entertainment, but I have a faith-based team, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And because I never thought I was going to be doing that ever again. I'm like, I guess that's over. That's all I know how
Right.
to do, but I guess that's over. And I did one interview where I gave my testimony, and then I was contacted by this entertainment team, and they were like, so now I feel safe with this team
Mm-hmm.
to do what I do well, and I can feel protected at the same time, which is good. And I've been
Oh.
rambling this whole time. I'm so sorry.
No, no, it's good stuff. I mean, it is and truly impressive to just see, because it is hard, right? When our identity is shattered by trauma or adversity or like what you experienced, we have to rebuild that. And it starts with a sense of self and then a strategy to move forward. And then we need the right social support to help us recreate
Yeah.
that sense of identity. So, no, thank you for sharing. I know you touched on, I think when we first met, we got introduced by a mutual friend, and you shared just a little bit that you are in the very, very early stages of a book
Yeah.
about your journey. So I am excited to see when that comes out. I know you're, again, very, very early stages, but I think there will be people who will be helped by hearing you share your faith and your testimony.
I've written 2 books, and now I feel like this is going to be the best. Like, this is going to be the best book because it's his story to tell.
Mm.
And those are just the big first and middle part of my story. Now the last part of my story is including the best part, which is Jesus and my faith in God and how he rescued me. He literally heard my cry and came in, found me in my brokenness, and changed my. You just cannot go back from that. You just can't. I had an experience that I was like, yeah, there's no going back. And I'm so glad I did because I feel a sense of purpose, even though I may not know what it is. Like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I mean, I know I have these ideas of what I want to do, but I literally just ask him to use me as a vessel, lead me where he wants me to be, ask the Holy Spirit to be my voice and search my heart to find anything in it that he may not like so I can be more like Christ and less like me. And
Mm.
and sometimes that's not easy to do. When I went from being like such a hustler to like just being still and listening to his
Mm.
voice and trying to trust him, like I've had trust issues in the past, but like this is next, and allowing him just to work on me and be okay with being content wherever I am. And that's not always easy, but it's simple.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just taking that's a leap of faith in and of itself, right? Just having the patience on God's timing, for sure.
Right, because his timing is perfect, and I'm an impatient person. I used to be the most impatient person, and I know that that's something he's really, really, really been working on. And I think it's because he put me back at home with my parents. So on the daily, I'm like, Lord, come on. I have to come outside and have a mental lap or 8. You never know. You know what I mean? Just kind of being like, woo, Lord, zip my lips. Hold me down, hold me down.
We always grow through, I always say that, we grow through the times of adversity, but it's never fun. Growth is usually not fun.
No, it's not. It's not. But I mean, I've literally, test drove the world, like more
Mm.
probably than a lot of people have. I have test driven the world, and it never filled me like it has with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, never.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful, but this was all he's known the end from the beginning. he's done it. Everything is his, on his timeline, his doing, and it's necessary. Like, his timing is perfect. So I don't second guess that.
Well, Bobbie, thank you so much for just sharing your faith with us and your story of recreating and rebuilding that identity and sense of self-worth. A lot of lessons that we can reflect on in that. And again, I work with a lot of teens and young teens and young women. And if anything, I wish I could give them is that the world cannot give you happiness, right? That's not something you can find in the car that you drive or the nice clothes or anything like that. Like, a lasting sense of joy has got to come from here. And you're the only one who can do that for you. So I know there are a lot of people who will need to hear that message as you go forward. So I'm excited to see what God has in store for you next.
I know, me too. I'm excited too. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just flashing up your Instagram, Facebook, and X. So anyone can feel free to connect and follow you on those platforms. And I'm sure as you get further along with that book, we'll all be looking forward to that. You'll be sharing some info on that. So yeah, absolutely. Connect with Bobbie and look out for the next chapter in her story.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you, Bobbie. And we're going to wrap up. Thanks again for your time and sharing your story with the Fearfully and Wonderfully Me podcast listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rhea.